Hello and welcome to this week's coffee vlog. It's Friday the 15th of December. It's 0 degrees Celsius. You've hopefully just watched a bit of a montage of the windscreen defrosting. I just finished off the first de-icer tin of the season. Last year I didn't even use a de-icer tin because we just, like I said, we never had this bad weather, but yeah, this year it's an Arctic wasteland in my bit of Yorkshire. So yeah, kind of not had so much snow, but it kind of sleeted a lot yesterday, and overnight it's just frozen. So I mean, last night coming home it was like frozen slush on the road. It was really slippy. So, and now it looks like it's even more frozen. So we'll see how we get on. So it's a bit brighter because I'm going to try and do the morning vlog again. Hopefully better results than last week. What I'll probably then do is do Mr Nellis's words of wisdom on the way home again at the petrol station. Just because it'll be easier. I won't have time when I get up to work to stop and do those. So I'll do those on the way back. So we're just waiting another minute or two just to make sure the windscreen's fully clear so I can see where I'm going, because that always helps, especially if it's a bit slippy. And I think we'll take the low road this time because I don't fancy that little bit of a hill with these icy roads. I don't. So on the whole, this week has been pretty good. It's been busy at work. I think the Christmas rush has finally kicked in. We seem to have just loads going out. I had a ridiculous number of eBay and Amazon parcels over the weekend, so Monday was hectic. I was dropping very many parcels off, much to the delight of the guy at the petrol station, I'm sure. And yeah, it's just been really sort of full on busy at work. I've been trying to get on with stuff, not doing so great watching YouTube subs still. I ain't got the time, to be honest. This isn't too bad, mind you. The gritter just, I don't know if you'll see on the camera, the gritter just went up. In fact, the gritter doesn't normally do that road, so they must have decided to spread out a little, because normally that doesn't get done at all. Well, gets done the very last, you know, if they've got nowhere else to go to and they've got some spare grit hanging around, then they might do it, but otherwise they don't tend to do that one also. They must think it's pretty icy to send him out for that. So yeah, what else has been happening? So last week's vlog kind of went a bit wonky. I was really not happy about that either, because the footage, which would have been going this same way last Friday, coming out from home, and it was all really thick snow, and we were ploughing through it, and it was snowing, and it had just been so good to look at the footage, and obviously what I say is a bit boring and rubbish, so you'd have had something half decent to watch for a change. But being a complete fool, I pressed the wrong button of 2 and didn't start the dash cam recording. So yeah, that was a bit of an epic fail, to be fair. These two are turning, so let's get going. So yeah, but it was all good, and I think it did all right on Steemit actually last week's vlog. I'm not really that sure how many people watch the vlogs on Steemit. Obviously I embed the YouTube video into it, but what I try and do is just take some different stills from the video footage and put a bit of text in to make it a bit more of a story, rather than just being a link to the video, so they don't have to view the video. They can read a little bit about what I've done instead, because not everyone's got time to sit and watch a video, especially mine when they're ridiculously long ones. I think we can get away with turning these fans down a bit now. That's better. Not so noisy now. Just about cleared the windscreen. So yeah, the vlog did quite well. In fact, on the whole, the last set of, I don't know how many posts on Steemit have done superbly well. I think I've had now a few go over $50, which is fantastic in reward value, and on the whole I'm sort of in that sort of 40 to 50 range, which is kind of mental really, because I was starting out and thinking about getting maybe $1 was like an impossible dream, and then now I'm really just sort of banging them out at $50 plus a time upvotes. I think I got one's gone up 60 now actually, and that's the funny thing, because they keep you've got 7 days for the upvotes to go on, and my previous experience of the smaller ones was, you know, once you'd had the first 24 hours there was no adding on to it, whereas now I'm getting the posts up to quite a high level. They seem to continue to generate interest and therefore grow on their own after that first interest building. Now, obviously, as I've pointed out, I am kind of cheating on Steemit. I'm gonna make this clear, because it is not fair to say the work I'm doing is not worth the value I'm getting back in upvotes, because I'm not the most talented person in the world, as is obvious from watching my vlogs. But I'm making the effort with the upvote bots to sort of get in and use the list of those to choose really the ones that are going to give the best return, and making sure that they're not overbidded before I bid, so that you get the maximum back as well. And to be honest, I'm putting about 12 to 14 SBD into the bots per post, but the post upvote's getting to 40s, 50s, 60s. What the lucky dirty things? Yeah. 40, 50 back. You know, putting 12 to 14 in and getting such a massive amount back again is got to be worthwhile. Obviously, to get to that point, what I've been doing was pointing a large portion of my ASIC Bitcoin miners in the direction of block trades. So the reward pool, when I got my Bitcoin reward, it went to block trades, and block trades converted that amount into Steem and deposited it in my Steemit account. So I built up Steem that way and used the Steem to transfer to SBD, which I can't do at the moment because basically Steem dollars are worth nothing compared to SBD, Steem backed dollars. So there's zero reason for anyone to want to even try and transfer Steem to Steem backed dollars. Fortunately, when I was doing the exchange, because that's, you know, obviously my mining funds came in Steem and I needed Steem dollars for the various upvote bots, they were about equal at a point now. When it got down to about 0.6, I started thinking, oh, I'm not going to exchange anymore because I'm losing out here. And now they're worth like 0.1, it's ridiculously useless. So basically all my miners are pointing back at my Bitcoin wallet, which funny enough was last night's Steemit post was about the Bitcoin wallet I use, or rather about getting funds out of it, getting funds into it. Coinbase, this is dead easy. But if you want to transfer Bitcoin to somewhere else as a Bitcoin address, dead easy, and they do Ethereum, and I think they do Litecoin as well. So any of that sort of transferring of those, no problem at all. If you want to convert your Bitcoin back to Great British Pounds or Euros, that's relatively straightforward, and this is what I wanted to do because Bitcoin's so high value now, ridiculously. I kind of wanted to hedge my bet that it wasn't going to keep climbing, and at some point it's going to go downwards again. So I thought I'm going to sell out some of my mining rewards now, convert it to real money while the value's high, and obviously benefit from that high value in exchange. So I did that, but I wanted to put it in my bank, of course, to help fund the electricity costs, which are actually quite a lot. It's incredible. I mean, 50% of what's being earned is being eaten in electric, but they do warm things up tremendously. So the entire house has now been festooned with my mining my mining machines, because I put the one in the bedroom, and then obviously everyone else in the house bemoaned the fact that that was the warmest place in the house, and how come I wasn't spreading it about the warmness. So yeah, now there's one in the living room. The S2 is now in the living room, even though it's ridiculously noisy. And I thought they were just like, oh, can't have this, it's too noisy. But no, apparently the warmth it generates is exceeding the annoyance of the fans going all the time. So yeah, more than happy with that. And then I've also added a S5. So both of those are 1 terahashes units into the oldest lad's bedroom on top of his wardrobe to keep that warm. So generally the whole house is getting heated now by Bitcoin miners. The gas isn't being used very much at all, which is good, because apparently gas has gone skyrocketing in price because of various things recently, and it's going to be really expensive. So good news for me, I'm not going to be using very much gas at the moment, because all my heating's provided by Bitcoin mining. Fantastic. So yes, anyway, there was the post about trying to extract the funds, which was just, my bank wouldn't link with Coinbase for some, I don't know, something to do, it's got a certain type of SWIFT transfer or something. It's all very odd. And of course, I didn't really want to start opening new bank accounts to find one that might work with it. It just seemed a bit ridiculous. But I had a look around and discovered there's this Revolut app for your smartphones, and it seems to be like you can send and receive money to people with it, and obviously you can transfer it back and forth to different accounts as well. So if you wanted to send some funds to someone's bank account easily, you could use this, charge it up with your credit card or whatever, and then send the funds over to someone. So it's quite a handy thing. Sort of getting the process of that and adding that to Coinbase and then getting the funds from Coinbase into it, it was a little bit more complicated, because the only bit of information I found was use that app, and that was it. And then I sort of went through, and I thought, well, I'm just going to go through this story because in future someone might have a similar issue, and I've kind of made the steps a little bit more clearer and, you know, a bit more information about it. So I thought that was kind of adding value somewhere, putting that up as a post. But yeah, so all that has been going swimmingly. You can see, just higher up in this area in Queensbury, always getting a bit weird. We're probably about the highest point now, and then we'll drop back down to Halifax. And once we get to Halifax, then we don't have a lot in Halifax generally, because it's too low altitude to stick. So yeah, on the whole, that's been going great, really. I think Bob's vlog was good last week again. Really loving all the videography stuff that you're getting into, Bob. I think was it last week? Oh, there's another gritter coming. Was it last week you actually filmed yourself taking the camera off the front of the car, which I thought was kind of genius, because you've done Bob does all the footage basically with the camera on the front bumper, the bottom of his car, so you get like the road eye view, which is kind of fantastic to look at, you know, see it going along so low down, because you never really think, of course he's going to remove it when he gets to where he's got to, because it wouldn't be there after he'd been shopping or whatever if he left it just strapped on the front, because some light-fingered little git would have come along and wiped it, like. But that was kind of cool as well. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, oh, I tell you what, one of these amazing ideas I have. Last Saturday night, I decided it would be a really good idea, because we've now got the gaming PC. So my lad who wants to do anything Windows based on Steam and the games on that, you can do it on that. So I didn't need the Windows Boot Camp partition on my MacBook Air that I created originally for as playing, because a lot of the Steam games, some of them are like multi-compatible, so they'd play on Mac as well, so that wasn't so bad. But a lot of them were Steam on Windows only that he was wanting to play. So that's obviously why I ended up creating the Boot Camp partition on my MacBook Air, so we could use my MacBook Air to play if you wished. But of course, now we've got the gaming PC, I thought, great, I can reclaim that 50 gigabytes of my SSD. Because to get all that to mesh together, what I've done is got an SD card with one of those very flush push-ins for the SD card slot, and so the 64 gigabyte SD card went in there, and basically I sim-linked downloads, music and pictures to that, so they were all stored on that and didn't take up my main hard drive space. And with the 50 gigabyte of Windows 10, I still had enough space to do a bit of stuff and do my videos, but the videos were so limited, because, you know, I had to use external storage all the time for the raw files, because Final Cut, for some random reason, still seems to, I'm sure I've ticked the box numerous times for it to leave the files on the original source, not import them into it, but it still seems to want to pull all the files into itself to then do the encoding. So obviously if I had the original files and it did that, it just completely obliterated what little space I had left on my Mac partition. So I thought, right, I'm going to wipe it clean. Now I don't need the Windows boot cap, start again from fresh, and I'll have, you know, the full 128 gigabyte, plus I can offload stuff to the 64 gigabyte if I want extra room or whatever else as well, so that's going to be even better. And the idea being, of course, I can not need to be tethered to a external drive for importing video footage like this vlog now and that, and move it across there to then do the encoding. I can do it all on the Mac and then either offload them to the NAS, which I couldn't obviously use for working files because it's not quick enough, just if I want to store it for the future. Probably I might just wipe it, because once it's up on YouTube, it's probably there forever, isn't it? Well, probably until they decide to wipe my account out, because who knows, they might do. Should we be nice to this guy, do you think? I think we should be. Go on, get going. And he's only going that way anyway, so it makes no odds to us. So yeah, basically, I've forgotten what I was talking about. Yeah. Oh, speed camera van. Right, come on, Chirpy. Oh, you see, it's sneaky. He's not reading this direction, the camera van, because one of the windows at the back would be open if he was. So he's actually using the camera that's mounted above the windscreen to look that direction down there. Hence Chirpy's not chirped up today, because he's not reading the signals, because I'm not doing them this direction. Right, so the MacBook, yeah, wiped it, and obviously you'd think, oh, it'd be easy. I created a High Sierra USB, bootable USB, backed up to Time Machine beforehand on an external drive, so I got a backup, so I thought, you know, got that, making life easier for myself, and then booted into the USB High Sierra installer. And could I get the partitions to chuff in delete? No. Could I? Heck. Oh, what a nightmare. I mean, I just, from previous experience with Windows, believe it or not, not often an advocate of Windows, but, you know, deleting and eradicating partitions and creating one new one is dead in simple. You click on the partitions, click delete, they delete, and then you have a raw space, and then you create an entire new partition with that raw space, and it's there, and it's easy. You got 6 partitions, and when I used to do like Hackintoshes and stuff, and you'd have all the EFI partitions and little tiny bits here, then everywhere, and then when you wanted to get rid of that, you had to hunt about and go through and delete them all. But it was easy. Mac, no, it was a nightmare. It wouldn't undo it, it wouldn't let me do this, it had problems with that, it wouldn't get rid of it, and I ended up converting it to this, and that didn't help, and did something else. Somehow, through basically trying to do every single thing I could possibly do to it, I managed to get one partition that High Sierra would not install to, because it wasn't the right format. Hence, by the time that this was, like, I'd started at about 8:30 and expected it to take half an hour to mess about with. Getting on for 11 o'clock, I'm cursing the damn thing for being useless. So in the end, I had to look up the terminal commands, because there was no way in the GUI interface to do it, to reformat the partition I had. You know, I'd finally got clear as one whole one in the correct format for High Sierra. You would think they'd put that in the GUI, wouldn't you? You'd think if you needed to format it a certain way for High Sierra, it would be in there for you to easily do. If somehow you managed to get it in the wrong form, I don't know why. It might have been something to do with the boot camp, and it when I deleted the partitions, it just created the new one in all boot camps, whatever it is, partition table. There's something I don't understand. Anyway, long story short, I had to Google up a terminal command and use a terminal command to reformat my internal SSD to something that the High Sierra installer would read and actually write the OS to. So that was all a bit of a malarkey. Finally got it all done. Tried to do the backup, you know, restore from the time machine backup. That started to go, and then said it had some issue or whatever. Great. So then I tried it a second time, and it said the same thing. So I ended up just going straight into it. Discovered I then had 2 user accounts installed on the Mac, although none of the stuff that was associated with. So it just didn't. None of it worked right. I don't know why. I mean, and of course by this point I wasn't going to mess about starting redoing it all again. So I just installed everything I needed from scratch, forgot the backup that somehow I refused to want to install. I mean, I could be, because I was backing up from a High Sierra beta, and then I obviously installed just the basic release version, because I had to download that and create the installer from it, download it from the App Store. It wouldn't accept the backup files because, you know, it was beta or something. I don't really know, but it didn't really work. And I ended up with 2 user accounts, and then I had to faff about and stuff like, you know, messaging relay for your iPhone to your Mac, and something great feature, whatever else. That wasn't working. That took me another day to figure out that in my phone I'd now got 4 MacBook Airs that I could send them to, and the one I was using, look, Mr. Bin Man, that's very, very naughty, but I'm not going to argue with you because you've got a big chunk of metal, and there's no way I'm getting swiped by that. So yeah, I'd got 4 MacBook Airs, but the one I was using wasn't turned on. All the other ones that didn't exist no more, they were all turned on. They could receive messages, but my actual install I was using, no, that wasn't turned on. Marvellous. So yeah, but I managed to figure that bit out and turn that bit on. Yeah, there was loads of little things obviously you've set over ages and ages, which kind of, I mean, the mail accounts did come back relatively straightforward, which is good because I've got chuffing loads of mail accounts, so trying to enter in all the details and passwords and stuff's a bit of a mare. So the fact that they pulled back in was pretty good. So it spent forever and a day downloading all the messages for its cache. And on the whole, it, you know, once I did it manually, and I said probably time machine backup's good if you just leave all the stuff in the backup and then just pull it out from the backup. You just go in and poke about and drag out what you fancy. In a way, so possibly in hindsight I should have just done a fresh install and not tracked about trying to do the restore from time machine, but you know, we live and learn. So anyway, it's all done now. It's got plenty of space available, although Photos did decide to store 30 gigabytes of photos on the Mac, which that spent ages chugging down and using the processor up all the time doing that. But I'm not overly concerned because I've got plenty of space now still. Obviously it would reduce that if it thought I was getting low on space, and I've still got the option to drag photos sim-linked back onto the SD card and stick them back there to free up even more space. So I might have to do that. I mean, I'd have liked to have used the existing photos that was on there, but for some reason it refused to let me put that into the photos directory, because basically as soon as the install had completed, just as soon as the install had completed, it must have started doing the photos thing on its own. So I mean, it was all already there. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna. Oh, thank you. Very kind person. So yeah, that was all a bit of a journey, to be honest, and obviously all that was time spent. I could have been doing something more useful and not prattling about. Right, so that's me done for this bit, and we'll do a little portion from here back to the petrol station tonight, and we'll do Mr Nellis's words of wisdom at the petrol station. Okay, so I shall see you again in a bit. See ya. Hello and welcome to this week's coffee vlog part 2. That is Mr Richard Nellis's little bit at the end. So yeah, we're heading back now. It's 5:15, so we're doing all right today. A decadent early finish from work. So obviously the main part of the vlog you saw this morning, those walls keep getting knocked down. I'm not sure what's happening around that. They've still got these stupid road sign things going on here. I'm going to go here because it says it's shut, so he should be waiting for me. Thank you very much. And yeah, so I did the main part this morning. This little journey is basically just to get me to the petrol station so I can stop and read Mr Nellis's words of wisdom, because it was too late when I got to work to do them this morning, and to do the more important job of opening up so people could get in. So yeah, so this is part 2 of the vlog. So just continuing on what I was on about this morning, something a bit different has happened with the iPhone. The latest beta updates have started working with my car again. Well, happily with my car anyway, so every time I want to use the music from the phone, it is now always connected. So that was a welcome fix for something that wasn't broken beforehand, but somehow they managed to break it while meddling with stuff on the betas. So that's better. Watch isn't so better. That keeps doing random reboots. I had another update for the watch last night, so maybe that will stop the random reboots. Of course, the thing is, you never know when it's doing it unless you happen to be looking at the time and you see an Apple logo instead. So it could be doing it loads of times that I'm never looking at the watch because you just don't look at it, and there's no sort of notification from it to say it's rebooting randomly. So yeah, but it's good news for me. At least I can listen to all my favourite music. Top tunes that have been on the go this week have of course been Logan Paul's Santa diss track, which is actually rather splendid. I do love it, and I'll leave a little link through to it anyway. So I've kind of really got into Logan Paul's vlogs. That's not like on the morning, because I'm always the first up and early up to get everyone else going before I'm going to get off to work. So that's sort of my thing on the morning, is to watch his vlog on the morning while I'm getting everyone ready for work. In fact, I'm going to be a bit lost next. I'll have to start watching just general, no, it's not so much watching, but I won't be able to watch them because the lad will be off school. He's in Monday, Tuesday. I think they're just having like fun days though. So basically then I'll be able to have a little bit of a sleep in, because I can just get up and go to work because everyone will still be snoozing when I go. So that's good. But of course it means I'll miss that time to catch up on those, so I don't know, I have to try and catch them later on or something. Also, the Grand Tour's back, and I watched that. I didn't get to watch that till I think Monday night in the end. I don't know, Friday's going to be, well, like tonight I'll be busy again. I've got the vlog to do, editing and getting that put up. Then I'm going to do all my little bits for the vlog on Steemit, and do the post on Steemit, and then do all the gubbins I do behind that to make sure my post gets a decent reward value. It's hard work, I tell you. There's more work in what you do after the post than there is actually doing the post in some cases. Although, to be fair, the post I did last night on Coinbase, which is doing rather well actually, and got up to about $54 or $55 now. That's not bad going at all. And Tuesdays I did on Indian Monsoon Malabar coffee. That's gone 60 odd over now. So yeah, great guns really. But yes, it is the Coinbase one. I was trying to do that Wednesday night, and I sort of started on it. I was sat in front of the laptop. You know, when you're that dog tired, your eyes are starting to close naturally and your head's nodding down, and you're sort of like, I was like, I tell you what, no, I'm going to bed. That was it. I just went to bed and crashed. I was really just tired. So yeah, I didn't get to put it up Wednesday night. I skipped a night then, and I did it last night instead, which is all right. It worked. I say that's going quite well. Got some quite positive feedback on that one. Let's just drop a gear. So yeah, it's all been happening. Another thing that happened with my phone, I think it was actually the end of last week, but it randomly stopped charging, or I plugged it in one night to charge and it wouldn't charge at all. I didn't really notice. I plugged it in presuming it was going to, and then I looked and it hadn't charged, and I couldn't figure it out. And I tried a load of different cables, and a couple of them, if I pressed it in really hard, it started charging, but if I slightly nudged it, it stopped again. It was really, and I was quite bemused about it. I was trying different places, and I'd come to work with barely any charge on, so I tried charging it at work, and it wasn't charging. And I was like, I wonder, is there something? I'd looked multiple times in the charge port. Obviously, it's the iPhone 7 with the Lightning port, but I'd looked in and I could not for life of me see anything in there. But I hunted out, I found a paper clip, one of those plastic coated ones, you know, the colourful paper clips you get, because I thought, I don't want to be poking about in that port where there's contacts for, you know, the charging and stuff, and frying my poor phone. So I found one with plastic on, so it was insulated, and sort of got the pokey end of the paper clip out, and yeah, would you believe it's we're going to park here, I think, and hope no one wants fuel, otherwise I get in trouble again. So yeah, basically I poked about with this paperclip, and would you believe it was it got a big lump of fluff in there. I just poked it through, poked it out, this great big blob of fluff, and basically because it was there, whenever I was pushing the chargers in, the fluff was stopping them getting to the correct point to charge. So crazy stuff. But there, I fixed my broken phone using a paperclip unfurled to get fluff out of the charge port. How's that for life? Right, let's do Mr Nellis's words of wisdom, then I can get rid of these parcels and go home. Things to talk about on your vlog. The death of Keith Chegwin. Rip Cheggers. Oh, Cheggers plays pop. Yeah, I mean, I remember him. Loads of people my age and remember him fondly, no doubt. So it's very sad he's died, and he wasn't old either. He was only 60, so that's even more of a shame when, you know, when people don't get the full length out of their life. It's not good. To Chris Rea as he collapsed on stage, so he's not well as well. No, it's not good. All these great famous people just falling down on us. Also, Richard Nellis has been to Bronte Parsonage Museum and T&P Print for lunch. Is that up near me, Richard? I think that is, you say. T&P Print's up near where I live. Also, Pennine Magpie trip, which he showed the other students and my Pennine Magpie trip worker called Carl Millard the factory on Tuesday. After the two places, I had a Pennine Magpie Christmas party at Ovingdon Rugby Club. Right, well, there you are. It's been busy life, Richard. I don't know how you cope with all this rushing about. You must be exhausted. He's also been singing Deck the Hall, Silent Night and Away in a Manger for his singing goal at Pennine Magpie. Great. And he's having a Chinese party at my house on Saturday evening. That'll be quite good. Disney are buying the 20th Century Fox for 52 billion. 52 billion is just the nonsense number, isn't it, really? And also he's been to Cafe Passion with his mum on Wednesday evening. It was Victor Meldrum as a baby was screaming at Cafe Canada when I had my lunch there on Thursday afternoon. And what will I be doing on Saturday morning and afternoon, as Richard's going to Lightcliff Tea Rooms for lunch and Richard Dunn swimming? What am I going to do? I don't know. I've got some stuff to do about home. We're perhaps going to do some shopping, maybe. I don't know. So just have to wait and see, really, what I get up to. So that is it. That's the end of Richard Nellis's words of wisdom, end of the vlog. So have a good weekend and next week, and I'll catch you in next week's coffee vlog. Okay, see ya.